A fraction is a quantity defined by a numerator and a denominator. The denominator tells you how many equally sized pieces each whole unit is divided into. The numerator tells you how many of those pieces. So if we have the fraction 1/2, that means we take a whole unit, divide it into 2 equal pieces, and we're taking one of those pieces. Let's look at another example. If 2/6 of a pie is eaten, this means we divide the one whole pie into 6 equal pieces, and we're going to take 2 of them. So 2 pieces are chosen, and that equals 2/6. Let's look at an example where we have 8 people each wanting a piece of pie. And furthermore, they all want pieces that are 1/6 of a pie in size, just like the last example. So this means we need more than one pie because one pie will only give us 6 pieces. So one pie gives us 6/6 since it's 6 pieces of a pie that's cut into 6 equally sized pieces. And that means we need 2 more pieces, so the 2 pieces come out of a second pie that's cut into 6 equal pieces. And so we have 6/6 plus 2/6, and that totals 8/6. Well, you see 8/6 is 1 plus 2/6, or we write that as a mixed number, 1 and 2/6. Furthermore, you can see that 2/6 of a pie is 1/3 of a pie. So what we really have done here is eaten 1 and 1/3 of a pie. Now in another example, what fraction of a pie has been eaten in this illustration right here? Here we have a pie, and it's cut up into, you'll see, 9 pieces, and 6 of them have been eaten. Well, 9 is the denominator, 6 is the numerator, so 6/9 of a pie has been eaten. And you can see that 6/9 is 2/3 of a pie. So 2/3 of a pie has been eaten. As you saw in a previous example, the fraction 2/6 appeared to reduce to 1/3. We can show this is true for sure by dividing both the numerator and denominator by the same number, in this case 2. If we divide the numerator 2 by 2, we get 1, and if we divide the denominator 6 by 2, we get 3. So 2/6 reduces to 1/3. In another example, 6/9 appeared to reduce to 2/3. If we divide 6 by 3, we get 2, and if we divide 9 by 3, we get 3. So this shows that for sure 6/9 reduces to 2/3. In general, a fraction is reduced by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Let's try this on another example. Reduce 12/48 as much as possible. Well, we think, what can we divide into both numerator and denominator? Well, 2 divides into both. If we divide 12 by 2, we get 6. And if we divide 48 by 2, we get 24ths. But wait a minute, 6/24 can be reduced again. We can divide 6 by 2 and get 3, and we can divide 24 by 2 and get 12. Well, we're still not done because 3 and 12 both share a factor of 3. If we divide 3 by 3, we get 1, and if we divide 12 by 3, we get 4. So the reduced answer in lowest terms is 1/4. Now, you notice that we could have divided both 12 and 48 by 12 right away and gotten our completely reduced answer in one step, because 12 divided by 12 is 1, 48 divided by 12 is 4. To reduce a fraction to lowest terms in one step, divide both top and bottom by the greatest common factor of both the numerator and denominator. Let's try this on this example. Reduce 100/200 to lowest terms. And we're going to do so by dividing by the greatest common factor. Well, the greatest common factor of both 100 and 200 is 100. We divide 100 by 100 and we get 1. We divide 200 by 100 and we get 2. So our reduced answer in lowest terms is the fraction 1/2. So 100/200 equals 1/2. Now we're going to look at different types of fractions: proper fractions, improper fractions, and mixed numbers. A proper fraction is one where the numerator is less than the denominator. For example, 3/4 is a proper fraction. Proper fractions of positive numbers always have a value less than 1. An improper fraction is one where the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. An example we had was the pie example with 8 pieces of pie where each pie was cut up into 6 equal pieces. We had 8/6 of a pie, which amounted to 1 whole pie plus 2/6 of a second pie. As you could see with this example and all examples of improper fractions, you always get a value of 1 or more. A mixed number is the result of expressing an improper fraction as a whole number added to a proper fraction. For example, 8/6 was written as 1 plus 2/6, but normally we leave the plus sign out and we just write it 1 with the 2/6 next to it, which reads 1n2/6. The way to convert an improper fraction to a mixed number is to divide the numerator by the denominator. The quotient, which is the answer without the remainder, will give you the whole number part. The remainder will equal the numerator of the proper fraction part. If we do that with 8/6, 8 divided by 6 is 1, and we have a remainder of 2, so we get 1 plus 2 out of 6, or 1n2/6. And here's another example. Convert 30/4 to a mixed number and then reduce the answer. So we use that procedure. We divide 30 by 4. We get a quotient of 7, which is our answer without the remainder. We take 7 times 4 is 28. We get a remainder of 2. That's the numerator of our fraction part. So 30/4 equals 7 and 2/4. And 2/4 reduces to 1/2 because we can divide both 2 and 4 by 2. Now I illustrate this process below. What is 30/4? Well, it's 4/4 plus another 4/4 plus another 4/4, and we keep adding the 4/4 together, and you notice that 7 of these whole units makes up 28/4, because 7 times 4 is 28, and each 4/4 is a unit. And we have 2/4 left over. That's our remainder part from our division process. So this illustrates pictorially what's going on with our procedure. We divide 30 by 4 to get 7, and the leftover part gives us the numerator of our proper fraction part. Let's look at the example. Write 110/3 as a mixed number. Here we take 110, divide by 3. 3 goes in 36 times, so that means there's 36 of these 3/3 units, and we have a leftover amount of 2, so our answer is 36 and 2/3, or 36 and 2/3. Another example, write 40/4 as a mixed number. Here when we divide 40 by 4, we get 10 and no remainder. This means that 40/4 is just the whole number 10 with no proper fraction part. Now, to convert a mixed number back into an improper fraction, what we do is we multiply out our whole number part by the denominator and then add the numerator of the fraction part. Let's look at an example. Write 6 1/4 as an improper fraction. The mixed number is 6. We multiply 6 by the denominator, which is 4, so we get 6 times 4 is 24. And then we take 24 plus that 1 in the numerator to get 25. So then our answer is 25/4. I show this visually below. 25/4 is 4/4 plus another 4/4 plus another 4/4, and so on till we get 24/4. Well, that's 6 whole units. You notice we ended up taking 6 times 4 to get those 24/4. Then we have one more fourth left over, so we just add it to the numerator to make 25/4. Now let's look at rewriting fractions and comparing fractions. In order to compare fractions or add or subtract fractions, we have to have the same size pieces. Well, the size of the piece is dictated by the denominator. That means we have to have the same denominators. Let's look at a simple example. How much pie do we get when we add 1/3 of a pie to 1/2 of a pie? Well, if we just add the numerators together to get 1 plus 1 equal 2, and add the denominators together to get 3 plus 2 equals 5, we get 2/5. Well, 2/5 is less than half of a pie. How can you add 1/3 of a pie to half of a pie and end up with less than half of a pie? You can't do it. You can't just add the numerators and add the denominators. You get a nonsense answer. What you have to do is instead cut these pies into equal size pieces. If we take the 1/3 of a pie and cut each of those pieces exactly in two, we end up with 6 pieces. And from this picture here, we have 2 out of the 6 pieces. So 2/6 is equal to our 1/3. We take the half a pie and cut each of those pieces into 3 equal pieces. And we can see we now have 6 pieces, and we're taking 3 of those. So we end up with 2/6 added to 3/6. That makes 5/6, or 5 pieces. So 2/6 plus 3/6 is 5/6. 1/3 plus 1/2 is 5/6. If you noticed in the pie example, we changed 1/3 plus 1/2 into the problem 2/6 plus 3/6. And what we're really doing here is we're doubling both 1 and 3 in one fraction, and when we're tripling 1 and 2 in the other fraction. We take 1/3, we multiply the 1 by the 2, we multiply the 3 by the 2. The 1/2 fraction, we take the 1 times 3, and we multiply 2 times 3. So then these fractions are turned into the fractions with common denominators, 2/6 plus 3/6, and we get our answer of 5/6. In general, we can always do that. You may build a fraction into an equivalent fraction with a larger denominator by multiplying both its numerator and denominator by the same number. Example, let's write each of the fractions 11/20, 18/30, and 8/15 with the denominator of 60, and then let's compare them and list them from smallest to largest. To turn 11/20 into 60ths, we have to multiply by 3. How do I get 3? Well, I take 60 and divide by 20, and I get 3. So 20 times 3 is 60. 11 times 3 is 33. 11/20 is equal to the fraction 33/60. For the fraction 18/30, since we have to multiply 30 by 2 to get 60, that means we also multiply 18 by 2. So that fraction turns into 36/60. For the fraction 8/15, again we take 60 and we divide by the denominator 15 to see what we have to multiply by. 60 divided by 15 is 4, so we multiply 15 by 4. That means we multiply 8 by 4, and 8/15 is then equal to 32/60. Well, comparing 60ths, 32/60 is less than 33/60, and that's less than 36/60. So then we can list the corresponding fractions. 8/15 will then be less than 11/20, which will then be less than 18/30.